Hello and a warm welcome back to the TNC Podcast with your 2020-2021 fans of the season.
As if you opened up with that. Oh, hey, mate. You good?
Yeah, very well. How are you?
Oh, I'm so good.
I'm just going to bring this microphone slightly this way.
So good.
Yeah?
I am... Come on, you meant to have had that done before we started. Yeah,
I just realised it's closer to you than me and I want my voice to be...
It's
just as loud as yours.
I'm well.
Good.
And are you well?
Yeah, really well, actually. Yeah.
Good.
I mean, it's hard not to be well at the moment.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, really?
I think the Norwich City atmosphere is a bit tense at the moment.
I've been trying to avoid Norwich... I've been trying to avoid Twitter for the most part. And I think it's really wise in pre-season because the situation is basically no football's being played, but the opinion level can sway so much between, right, we're finishing top half to we're getting 15
You're
points this season.
You're the only person saying that.
But it's true though, isn't it? Like literally nothing can happen and yet opinions can sway so much.
Yeah.
We last recorded on the 18th of July, and we've got a few little public service announcements to make before we get into the bulk of this podcast. And there's a lot to discuss.
Oh, is there?
My A5 bit of paper is absolutely full to the rafters.
Nice to know that you planned it for once.
Yeah, well, we did. It was a collaborative effort. On the 7th of August, cancel all of your plans because we are getting drunk at a brewery. At Lincoln's.
TNC Piss Up in a Brewery.
And you're all invited.
Finally.
Tickets are available in the description below. The ticket price includes all of your beer, all of your entertainment, music, and
barbecue as well.
Food.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
And I tell you what.
Hell of a deal.
The meat is being purchased from my favourite butchers.
Go on.
Tubby's in Caister. Big fans of the channel.
No, yeah.
I must say.
No, big up Tubby's. It's the name.
Why do you think I've got a bit of a tub myself? So really looking forward to that. If you want some of Tubby's very own sausages, then make sure that you're there. 7th of August. It's going to be a great day.
It will be.
Chris will be on the microphone.
And by the way, we're both going to be, and I'm not having this from you, we're both going to be wearing our HMS PTL hats. That was discussed on social media this week. Will we be there in our hats? That was the decision maker for someone of will they buy a ticket or not. I said yes, we will be. And depending on how many Lakens I have, I will do a live TNC shanty.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to that. We can't wait to see you there. As well as that, I've seen lots of people preparing their fantasy football teams for the new season.
Yes.
And if you want to beat me, and that's an absolute certainty, then we have a league, all for the Big C, on the official Premier League fancy app. It's £10. Basically, it's just a £10 donation, and there will be a prize for the winner at the end of the season. Link in the description. You rate yourself in fantasy football?
No.
No?
No, I'm in and around the Champions League spots, at best.
Oh, that's pretty good.
It's all right. The problem is that I tinker with it too much.
Yeah.
I change my team all the time. You've got to stay strong, haven't you?
I always note towards the start of the season, before a game, you're always on the app, and then halfway through, I don't see it from you at all. Are you like peaking early and then just falling off a cliff?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I just fall off a cliff at the start.
Any Norwich players are you putting any Norwich players in your team?
Yeah, I think there'll be a few.
Go on.
I'm looking towards Benny Gibson.
Hello.
Yeah.
I never would have expected you to say that.
Yeah.
I mean, the Rock's the Rock, but a tough start.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough start, but it's Ben Gibson.
True.
And I suspect he'll be relatively cheap.
Absolutely love that.
Had a Man United fan message me today from work, said, should I get Big Andy in the squad? And I said,
well,
of course you should. Absolutely you should.
Big Andy's Big Andy.
I love that though. Man United fans getting Big Andy in the squad. Anyway, both of the links to them in the description. It'd be great to get you involved in 1, 2 or none. Lots of new contracts.
Yes.
Who would you like to discuss first? Slabhead?
Yeah.
Or our German...
Slabhead.
Yeah?
I am buzzing about
We're
this.
of course referring to Grant Hanley.
Big Grant Hanley.
Here until 2025.
The Scottish beast. I mean, by then, surely there'll be a statue of him. Surely. We've spoken about it time after time. Since his debut against Ipswich, those famous pink boots when he sprinted on the pitch. The cross for Tim Close's famous goal against Ipswich, the return fixture.
Yeah.
So many moments. Grant Hanley. And what a season he had last time out, Jack. I'm so pleased that Grant signed a contract. And I must say, I think there's some... Well, for lots of the Norwich players there are, but there's certainly unfinished business in the Premier League for Grant Hanley, and I'm really looking forward to seeing his solid partnership with The Rock, a.k.a. Ben Gibson, smashing it next season in the Premier League.
Would you prefer... You get to pick one of the two.
Go on.
A statue of Grant Hanley...
Yeah.
Or the City Stand extended?
Wow.
Because I'm thinking the cost is probably going to be the same because the size of Hanley's head. If you're making it out of gold...
Yeah, it does need to be gold as well, 100%. Look, the Bovril boy inside of me says extend the City Stand.
Yeah.
But
do the Bovril boys want that?
But I must admit, no, of course they don't. The Bovril boys in the City... Oh, no. The Bovril boys in the City Stand, they want the City Stand to stay as it is. No, I think it's got to be a Grant Hanley statue, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think it's huge, and I think looking at the squad as we sit here on the 7th of July? I'm not sure when it is. You look at the defensive line and you do think that's far stronger than it was the last time we were in the Premier League. And I think Grant Hanley's a really integral part of that. We both listened to him on Jake Humphrey's podcast.
Very good.
And I'd never really listened to him speak at length. I'd only ever watched his, raw pace and supreme athletic ability, but I'd never really listened to him speak. And I think there's still a bit of a persona, and it is shifting, but a persona that football players in general are just a bit dim. And I think on the most part that couldn't be further from the truth. And Grant Hanley is the epitome of that.
Yeah.
I thought he spoke incredibly well, and from a leadership perspective, and I think we missed that on our last time in the Premier League, we didn't have them leaders, and I think Hanley has really matured over the past sort of 18 months. Would you agree?
I don't agree, as always.
What part?
All of it. No. I think Grant was a leader last time in the Premier League. We didn't have enough leaders in the Premier League last time.
Right.
We didn't have leaders forwards at all. You know, you had Tim Krul, you had Grant Hanley.
But we still shipped a lot of goals.
Well, yeah, because the midfield were passive, weren't they? Let's be honest with you.
Yeah, I know, but what would you not agree that Grant has improved as a player
100%.
over the past 18 months?
Absolutely, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I just think he was I think he had those leadership qualities last time in the Premier League.
Okay.
But I think we've solidified defensively. But I'm sure we'll go on to it in a minute. The Warriors, although we're saying defensively, our starting lineup looks really solid.
Yeah.
Solid as a rock. You know, those four, Dimitri Giannoulis, Max Aarons on the other side, The Rock, and Slabhead in the middle. You know, that's solid. But then outside of that, you know, there's only really Big Andy that you could rely on.
Yeah.
Which is a worry, but I'm sure we'll go on to that.
And I guess that is, you mentioned him there, the Rock, Ben Gibson. Grant Hanley didn't have him next to him the last time in the Premier League. And yes, Ben Godfrey, as we've seen with him at Everton, he was an exceptional talent, but he was young and he was inexperienced, and it was the first time he was in the Premier League. You feel as if that partnership between Gibson and Hanley is far superior to what he had last time.
100%. 100%. Definitely.
And Ben Gibson has snake hips, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Chris was... I can't remember what I was doing that evening, and I just...
Not working.
No, I wasn't working. I was perusing through my personal Twitter, and I saw some TalkNorwichCity tweets go out. And of course, the man to my left had been sending them, and I get great excitement when I see TNC tweet. And it was of Ben Gibson singing karaoke, moving hips like Rihanna.
Yeah, wonderful stuff.
Quite something, wasn't it?
Yeah, if you've not seen it, head on to the TalkNorwichCity socials and check it out. Instagram might be best. By the way, thanks for 15k on Instagram.
Yeah.
Big up. Cheers to that. If you don't follow us on Instagram, go follow us on Instagram. Exclusive content going out on that platform this season. Anyway, NCFC karaoke. A lot of people, by the way, are saying, where was that? It was the Oak Terrace Bar in Thorpe
They
St
seem
Andrew.
to like that gaff, don't they?
Oh, they love it. Well, I love it. It was great for England, for the Euros, and they love it 100%. Shame I would have loved to have seen all of them on there, so we could properly rank them. But from what I saw, dance moves, definitely The Rock, 100%, no doubt.
Really surprised with the hips. You kind of look at centre backs and you think little bit, you know.
Well, I disagree. I think just on the turn there,
right.
Or Benny Gibson, I can imagine it. I think he's got that in his locker.
Well,
I think
we know he has now.
Yeah, he's got the hips.
You
have to be able to turn quickly as a defender.
Yeah.
It can all change in a second. You need to be on your toes.
But you wouldn't want to fight Ben Gibson, but
Absolutely
you also
not.
wouldn't want to get in it, a one-on-one yoga session with Ben Gibson because he's really quite supple.
Yeah, no. I tell you what, though, 100% by country mile, my favourite one of those NCFC karaoke videos, Pierre Malou.
Is it going too far to say that this man is already a Norwich City legend and he hasn't yet played for a competitive game? The man is quickly becoming well-loved.
I worry. I worry about how much I love the man already.
Wow.
I absolutely love it from him.
Really?
I really do. Like, his personality, I just think we need that.
Yeah.
I just think I've got so much goddamn interest in Pierre Malou.
Why?
I just think that, well, first of all, his performances so far pre-season look absolutely nothing short of sensational. And that's not, and I'm not even being sarcastic. And if anyone comments in the comment section disagreeing with me, then quite frankly, you're wrong. Pierre Malou, I just love the guy. I think he's a top man. Absolute top man.
And he went in the karaoke with We Will Rock You.
Yeah, and I just love, do you know what I love about it? And I have to put my beard down for this.
I know what you're going to say.
I love the fact that he did the...
Yeah.
And then he stopped them. No, he stopped them. He said, no, slow down. That was my French accent, by the way, slow down. And then he started again. And he nailed it.
Yeah.
Go and watch it.
And we put out on our Instagram the chant that has been made for Pierre Malou. God, he was loving it. He was loving it from us.
Oh, that's going to be all over the Barclay next season. Yeah. Absolutely all over
the French. There's something good about French and Norwich, two very culturally advanced places. Pierre Malou, the Bovril boys. I can see a lovely synergy coming.
Yeah. I'm trying not to get ahead of myself, but I really, really love the guy. So I really want him to do well.
Good.
Absolutely.
We'll get on to a few of the other karaoke performances later. Another big contract, another one until 2025.
What a tangent, by the way.
From well, look, that's the joy of the TNC podcast. Daniel Farke in his Parker here until 2025.
Oh, it's massive. Absolutely huge. And may I start by saying, I want to be transparent up front. I think it's okay to do this. I'm sure I'm not the only one. If Daniel, if you're watching, I'd like to say sorry because I was probably verging on slightly disrespectful over the Premier League performances. I'll say it. I don't mind apologising. I still stand up for myself because it was very frustrating that we waved the white flag in the Premier League, particularly the Premier League restart.
I think it was justified to criticise Farke in the last Premier League.
Look, we lost a lot of games in a row and I was disappointed with the tactics, but the man deserves the keys to the city. And I've tweeted it. He's the best manager of my lifetime. In my opinion, 100%, no doubt about it. And I believe, and I don't know what year it is, but I think it's either a year in or the full contract term, he then becomes our longest serving manager of all time, which is fantastic.
Blimey.
And I'm being serious. I'm so chuffed.
Would it be like 8? It'd be 8 getting years. Towards 8-9 years if he gets to 2025.
I think it's huge for our football club. I think that consistency. I think no disruption. Nothing to distract anyone from any sort of rumours. Daniel Farke is here to stay. And by the way, if we have an incredible season next season or we have a dismal season next season and he decides to go to a bigger club, that means a huge compensation payout for Norwich City Football Club, which is going to be vital. So big up to Stuart Webber for getting it over the line. Big up to Daniel Farke for his loyalty. And he's got unfinished business in the Premier League, by the way. And I love the fact that he signed that contract. And I think it says a lot about him and he deserves a ton of respect.
Well, the nice thing about this deal as well is the fact we now know it's not Farke just getting a pay rise and sitting on his laurels, because he said, didn't he?
Yes.
That he turned down multiple other job offers. And I suspect, I don't know, but I suspect there would have been some relatively big clubs in there, particularly back in Germany. And I suspect that the pull of that is quite big. I think he's still got family back out there.
Yeah.
That's where he's from. Some big clubs out in Germany.
Yeah.
And he's decided, like you said, Chris, unfinished business here at Norwich City. He still has something to prove to these fans.
It would be so easy for him, and I say this respectfully, to bugger off back to Germany.
Yeah.
It'd be so easy for him.
Yeah. Probably on bigger pay, probably a bigger club.
Possibly.
But he doesn't have Le Malou then, does he?
Exactly. No, but seriously, Daniel Farke, chuffed. It's such big news for our football club. And I thought he spoke brilliantly in the press conference when it was announced. I was so impressed with the quotes that came out of him. Definitely the right mentality. The mentality from Daniel Farke has, in my opinion, switched from last time we went to the Premier League. A lot of people will know that have watched the podcast and also the watch-alongs. When Stuart Webber came on here before the season started in our last Premier League campaign and said, it's a bonus season, it's a free hit, we'll do what we can, we're up here to piss people off. And then there's this narrative of, what did Daniel Farke say? Over and over again, it'll be a miracle. He said miracle all the time. And I got a bit tired of that because I saw the potential in that Norwich team to stay up. I'll argue with anyone about that.
Well, I was frustrated when Stuart said that it's 30. The quote was it's 38 free hits.
I don't know about that.
I get that we were never expected to stay up, but it did feel slightly defeatist from the offset.
But my point is, from the offset this time, the right language is coming out of Daniel's mouth. I agree. And I'm buzzing about it. Yeah. Absolutely buzzing.
The amazing thing is, as well, is you look at, out of the 72 Football League clubs, he's now something like the 15th longest serving manager.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
It shows how little consistency there is across football. I think for a club like Norwich City, who don't have the money to chuck payments at getting rid of managers early and bringing them in, if we are going to succeed in the Premier League, it does feel as if consistency is a really big thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt.
The man that is next to him, was next to him in that press conference, goes by the name of Stuart Webber.
Yes.
He still hasn't renewed a contract, and I'm not overly sure. I suspect there will be discussions surrounding him. His current deal ends at the end of this coming season, so not too long. If you could offer him a 3-year deal now, or the same as Farke, would you be giving it to him?
Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%. I'm the most proud I ever have been of our football club, and Ben Kensell deserves some credit for this, by the way. But Ben Kensell, Zoe, Stuart. To be fair, the board as well for sticking by them. By the way, in that dismal Premier League restart, and Daniel Farke, that quadrant there, absolutely exceptional. And
dealing with Michael as well, who are essentially their bosses. Yeah.
Well, that's what I've said, and. Yeah, look, Stuart is absolutely integral to what we do, to how we operate, who we can bring in. I think he's come on, and I mean this respectfully, and what I mean by that is I think, although people are very frustrated that we've not brought in enough players so far, the players that we have brought in, I personally feel are so much better than what we signed last time we went to the Premier League. And I know that's easy for me to say, and I get that people will be frustrated hearing that, but I just think we've signed players with a little bit more experience. We've definitely signed more talented players, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments if you disagree.
The only real notable signing going into the last Premier League was Sam Byram, wasn't it? For 300 grand.
Yeah, which is mental. Yeah. But no, my point is, I think Stuart's top notch. He's without a shadow of a doubt one of the best in the country, and that's why it will be tough to get him a new deal, because I'm sure Stuart. Well, we all know, because he's made it very clear Stuart's got ambitions to move on.
It does feel as if Farke and Webber now come as a pair, doesn't it? Do you see it that way?
I think it's a nice narrative for Norwich, but I don't think that entirely. No.
Right. Okay.
I wouldn't rule out them working together in the future, though. No.
Okay. There were a few brilliant I say brilliant. There were a few punchy quotes that came out of the press conference, and this one in particular was with BBC Radio Norfolk. The link is on our Twitter if you want to head over. The first one, which was generally very well received, although slightly controversial. Stuart Webber said, "Last time I sent Daniel to war without a gun." That was the famous quote, wasn't it?
Yes.
When we got relegated, it's my fault, says Stuart Webber. I sent Daniel to war without a gun. He says, now though, he's got a gun, a couple of grenades, and a bazooka. We just haven't quite got the tank yet.
Okay.
Would you agree that we've got the grenades and a bazooka and the gun?
Well, look, we've got the gun. We've got Angus' gun. But going around that armoury there, I think he's probably made it out to be a little bit stronger than it actually is. But perhaps what he means by his analogy is, of course, in that armoury, the strongest thing is the tank.
Right.
So maybe he's referencing the fact that he's got the armoury accessories, but not the main man, which is why I think these 2 weeks coming up are, well, look, they are crucial to staying up without a shadow of a doubt.
I suppose the grenades and the bazooka and the gun would be housed within the tank, wouldn't they?
Possibly, yes.
And the tank would be the driving force, and the grenades would be the accessories to throw off.
I think he's but Stuart knows what he's doing. Like, it's very easy for fans to sit here and to criticise it. He is so much more qualified than us.
Yeah,
of course, we're entitled to an opinion, to disagree with him or to agree with him, but I feel like I'm going to be patient in these next 2 weeks.
Yes.
And I'm not going to throw my toys out the pram like I've seen on Twitter, namely by a lot of people that are on their summer holidays at the moment with anonymous profile pictures. I'm not going to throw my toys out the pram. I trust Webber. I do. And people won't like to hear that, but I do.
And the funny thing is, you look back at historical Norwich City Premier League signings, the most excited we've ever been have been around the likes of Ricky Van Wolfswinkel, Stephen Naismith, Leroy Fer, because they're attached to big price tags. And as we've seen time after time, often it's the Eddie Buendias, the Tammy Pookies, who you probably haven't heard of, that have been the ones that deliver.
And I know there'll be people on this side of the fence, so I'm going to speak for them to you. I still would agree with those people that are saying we're not ready.
Yes.
And I am slightly concerned with our lack of activity yet. But I do buy into the fact that it is the market. The Euros were on.
Yeah.
By the way, there is this thing called the global pandemic, right? I don't want this to come across as excuses, although I've just said them as excuses. I think they're valid excuses. And if you look at the transfer market, it has been slow. Of course, the big clubs have managed these big name signings because they're massive clubs. Norwich aren't going to be able to do that just yet. But I do expect, and I sincerely hope, we sign more players before the end of the window.
It's not a Norwich City isolated thing. The transfer market in general has been slow. Yeah. The other quote coming out of that interview was a really fascinating one surrounding the recent sponsorship deal and failed sponsorship deal with Asian gambling firm BK8. Stuart said, we have to be very careful that we don't become a society that when a few people on Twitter make some noise, we change every decision. I'm sure there will be some fans who are equally as disappointed to see how much money we lost during BK8. Now, I don't know what your opinion is on this. The general feedback we were getting from that tweet was one of slight frustration. There were a few people who agreed with his honesty, and Stuart Webber has been known in the past to be very frank and honest. Mm-hmm. Stuart, what I read from that was that he was frustrated that Norwich City, he's obviously frustrated that his transfer budget has decreased, as you naturally would be.
Yes, I get that. I empathise with that.
He was of the belief, I think, that he felt the club was swayed too easily from fan opinion.
Look, Stuart's remit, KPIs, his job is, partly to bring in the best footballers to bolster our squad, to try and hit Daniel Farke's KPI, which is to turn us into a well-established Premier League club. But I have to admit, I have to be really honest, and I hope people appreciate this. I'm not happy with that quote. I'm not. I do think Stuart's wrong. It wasn't a Twitter minority. I think that language was the wrong language to use, if I'm really honest. What I do want to say really clearly, though, which I do agree with the people that have loved that quote, is they've said, well, you want honesty, so you can't not like it when you don't like the answer. Yeah. And I get that, and I respect that, but I think labelling BK as a Twitter minority isn't right, and I'm sure there's people in the club and that were wincing a little bit at that. I think it's quite dismissive, and I think also I worry about that quote really frustrated me because there's already, as I'm sure we'll speak about, a lot of angst and nastiness and divide in in society, but we won't go into that. Within the Norwich City fan base at the moment, and I do think that fueled the fire. He's right that his budget will be decreased. He's right to be honest. I'm pleased he was honest, but I just think he was wrong. It wasn't a Twitter minority.
No, I agree with you. It wasn't a minority. I think just to defend Stuart, I think he will be frustrated with the way that
Absolutely, I get that.
No, he'll be frustrated with how that's come across. I think in hindsight, he would have chose his language differently.
I agree.
What you have to understand is when the club do these media days, he will have done 10 interviews that day. He will have spoke for an hour and a half on tape.
Yeah.
And people have picked that quote out, us included, because it's punchy. That makes the best headlines. I think he's got two opinions here. One, he's incredibly frustrated that the deal hasn't worked out and he has lost budget, and the end result of the season will come back on him and Daniel, and that was out of their control. They weren't the ones negotiating necessarily the BK8 deal, but as you say, Chris, it was a poorly.
It was a shame.
It was a poor deal, and it wasn't a minority. And I think fans had the right to go back at the club and say this doesn't fit in our values. Equally, Stuart Webber has the right to say it was out of my control, and I'm incredibly frustrated that my transfer budget is decreased.
100%, but unnecessary, and also that quote comes across as though he's almost blaming the fans. That's my opinion. That's how that quote. I know, and I agree. I like what you've said here, Jack. I'm sure he didn't mean it to come out like that, to be portrayed as that, but that's how it's been interpreted by many, and I understand why people are concerned.
But you're right. The point stands. We love Stuart Webber because of his honesty and his transparency and the clarity that you get that you don't get at other football clubs. You don't get the kind of insight. So
wouldn't swap it for the world.
You have to take the good and the bad.
And Stuart, 100%.
And Stuart has come and has said many things where I've gone, I'm surprised the club have let that come out. I'm surprised the press officer has let that come out. But that's the joy of it. And when I heard that, I was like, that's going to ruffle feathers. But I don't think he'll mind. I think,
of course he doesn't. I agree with ignore the noise.
And that's his quote, isn't it?
I know, but it was just wrong. But that's it. And by the way, I'm not holding anything against Stuart at all. I felt like it was important to talk about this because it has caused divides. And let us know in the comment section what you think about it, right? But be nice to each other, of course, please. But I am interested to see your comments down below, and if you're watching on YouTube, what you think about Stuart's BK8 comments.
Ready for a gear shift?
Oh, I'm ready. Hit
From
me.
Stuart Webber to Billy Gilmore in a Lotus Elise.
Yes, please. I love it.
I loved your tweet. I love that from you. I think you've peaked early in the season with your tweet.
I can't believe you just said my catchphrase. That's lovely. Yeah. I've really appreciated that.
It was the tweet that said it was like Chelsea fans look after him.
Yeah.
Norwich City throw him in a Lotus and razz him about some kind of airfield at speed. He looked petrified.
I'm pretty sure as well, if you listen to the audio at the beginning of that video that Norwich released, by the way, cracking video, and big up, by the way, to the Norwich media team who have been working really hard on pre-season with all of their content, and and this is actually very, very serious now. Norwich City's content used to be boring as hell. Norwich City's content now is getting to the Champions League, Premier League standard, which I love to see. And that video was one, Billy Gilmore in the Lotus. I think the audio at the start, the driver actually said it's 100. We're going 140. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that.
Might be,
But I think he said we're going 140. I think I could be wrong, but anyway, I just found that particularly funny.
And they're quite small car, the little Lotuses.
The nippy.
And you drive a pretty sporty Mini, and that's quite kind of. And when you go 30 round the corner to the petrol station, I'm like, whoa,
good. Feels good. Yeah.
So Billy Gilmore, we're either trying to break him before the season starts, or just bedding him in. Billy Gilmore, though, another player who... We talk about signings, don't we? And you've got two aspects to a signing. You've got technical ability. Gilmore has that in endless degrees.
Yeah.
And Webber always says, I'm not only signing a player, but I'm signing a person.
Yes.
And Lima Lou and Gilmore fit that bill. He's been at the seaside, he's been doing karaoke, he's living the dream.
Yeah, 100%. It's so nice we're bringing in people that are nice.
Yeah.
It really does feel like there's no egos in this side anymore. I think we've ironed those out. So yeah, I love Billy Gilmore. I'm excited for him. I'm pleased he's at Norwich. So I'm pleased that we've roused him around on Lotus.
And the joy of that is there is more of a lenience towards bad runs when your team is full of nice people, I think.
Yeah, there's maybe a PR element there, isn't there?
Yeah, but if you play that game right, you're going to buy. If Billy Gilmore misplaces a pass that costs us a point against Liverpool on the first game of the season, I'm probably slightly more. I'm slightly less angry.
Yeah, because he's a nice bloke.
Because he's done karaoke.
This is why we bang the drum, transparently to say, with the club and with other people. You know, when for example Grant Hanley, barely does any media, went on Jake's High Performance podcast, and until you hear from them and understand who they are as human beings, you can't really buy into them. And I think it's important for fans to buy into them. I do think it's really, really useful.
Absolutely. So Billy Gilmore, welcome.
Big up Billy.
And I'm glad I don't think he's got any form of whiplash.
Great on the karaoke as well, Billy Gilmore.
Yeah, well, he sang, it was Oasis, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I must say, for the opening 30 seconds, not a clue.
Shaky.
Yeah, worrying. If the first 30 seconds against Liverpool is like that in footballing terms, back to Chelsea. But came through in the end. We've also played 2 pre-seasons.
Yes.
Against the might of Huddersfield Town and Lincoln.
Yes.
2 clean sheets, 2 wins.
Yeah.
Top 4.
Top 4?
We beat Huddersfield 2-0.
Sorry, I was a bit shocked that you said that.
Pookie and Ida.
Yeah.
And we beat Lincoln. Now,
Yeah.
you said a fact earlier that I wasn't aware of. Apparently, Pierre-Lee Malou scored for Norwich before he was announced.
Yes, correct.
Am I right in saying that?
Yes, correct.
How does that work?
I don't know.
That's just kind of his French edge.
It's a bit... Yeah, it's strange.
So
if anyone has any intel, let us know in the comments.
He scored an 89th minute winner against Lincoln.
Yeah.
That's all we know from the game.
Brilliant. I love that from Malou.
I didn't watch the game, did you?
No. Great. Yeah, but I watched the highlights though, and it was a cracking finish.
Was it?
I'm pleased I didn't watch it because it sounded like an absolute bore fest until, of course, the mighty PLM rocks up and smashes one home.
PLM?
Yeah. Yeah. What's wrong with that?
I don't know. It sounds like an illness.
I'm pleased you said that.
I've got some terrible PLM.
I'm pleased you said that. I thought you were going to go down an avenue that I didn't want to go down.
No, we never do that.
Let's just go to Huddersfield quickly.
Huddersfield. I'll tell you my highlight of Huddersfield.
Go on.
Pookie's goal.
Yeah.
Won it beautifully worked.
Yeah.
Lucas Roup's turned into Ronaldinho for a little bit of that, which was really nice to see. You know what I'm loving? And I'll give you one guess. What am I loving about the pre-season games at Colney?
The grass.
No. Dan O'Hagan acting like it's a Champions League final.
Yeah.
Just real passion.
Good. Yeah. And we need more of that passion.
Yeah.
We need more passion in society. We've become passionless.
Passive.
And I love the fact that he injects the passion. Big up Dan O'Hagan.
Dan O'Hagan.
Of course, friend of the channel.
Yeah.
Been on the podcast.
And he's got that real roar. And when he's screaming Pookie, banging one against Huddersfield, Chris, I will tell you, it gets me tingling.
Yeah, it gets me going as well. Do you know what I really enjoyed about Dan's commentary was when Anel Hernandez hit a really average shot into the centre of the net and he literally screamed, Anel Hernandez! Like that. And I was like, oh, okay. It wasn't that good, Dan, but I loved it. I loved that from
And
Dan.
I grew up on Dan O'Hagan on Match of the Day.
Yeah.
So it feels Premier League that he's now doing the pre-season. It was a delightful goal.
Yeah.
Adam Eder on the score sheet. Where does
Bally Mumba, by the way, massive tackle in the run-up to that. That gives me confidence, and I'm so... You know what I like? I like the fact that perhaps the 2 fringe players that have been said aren't ready for the Premier League, and I know we played Huddersfield, but they look tidy. You know, Ballymumba, great tackle, wins the ball, feeds it through to the lads, and we go on to score.
Who's the other fringe player?
Adam Eder.
Oh, right, okay.
Adam Eder.
Oh, you're going there.
The way he took that ball down and just absolutely tonked it into the back of the net. God, it got me going.
Did it?
God, it got me going. It really did. No, it really did. Seriously, people write Adam Eder off. Adam Eder's ready to be a substitute in the Premier League.
Wow.
100%. I don't buy this loan nonsense.
Oh, you'd have him in the Premier League team?
As a substitute, yes. I think
but
he could do some damage. He's got pace.
Stunts the development?
He's got pace. He's got physicality. It doesn't stunt the development. He'll play all of the cup games, every single one. which you love, by the way. And then he'll come on as a substitute and do some damage. He's got pace, he's got physicality, and by the way, we've seen he can finish.
So you're saying then, in that case, that Adam Eder is ahead of Jordan Hugo?
No, I'm not.
It sounds
I'm not
that way.
saying that.
Because we play one up front.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I was impressed.
So where
with
does
Adam
Hugo go then?
Eder. I think Jordan could cause some damage too. I do.
You can't have them both coming on as a sub.
Why not? Why not?
Because we play one striker.
Why not? Yeah, but I don't know, mix up the formation. Bang them all up, Pookie, Hugo and Eder. I want them all, I love it.
So we're...
Anyway, I was impressed at Huddersfield. I was impressed with the pre-season against Huddersfield.
I think that was almost a backward step.
What?
The 2-0 win against Huddersfield.
What? Yeah,
because last time we banged in 7 against them in about 40 minutes.
And we were on the floor laughing, weren't we? I mean, that was one of the best performances ever.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was so good. Look, I don't think you can read too much into pre-season.
No,
particularly
I don't
when
either.
We've still not
but
got...
it's fun too.
Particularly the fact that we've still not got all of the players that we want.
Absolutely. Okay, I just wanted to quickly mention as well, where did I put my phone?
I don't know.
We've got Twitter questions. Oh, it's literally on my lap. I just wanted to quickly mention, this isn't necessarily related to Norwich City.
Go on.
Russell Martin is now the favourite to become the next Swansea City manager.
Yeah.
He deserves a move like that. I think he'd do brilliant things at Swansea.
Yeah, sorry, this Lakins is just so good.
I just wanted to say that. You haven't got to reply to it.
Yes, I agree.
That's the chat over.
No, look, everyone knows I love Russ. Everyone knows, Russ, he was the reason why our podcast, went in the direction it did. He gave us a chance. He's an absolute top man. He's kind. He's empathetic. He's got all the qualities that a good leader should have. But what's been proven this season is his philosophy as a manager. And I think, 100%, he would do very, very well at Swansea, providing they gave him some budget to play with. He would do very well. The problem that he's going to have at Swansea is, I think Swansea are destined for a transition season. I don't think their fans can be demanding playoff places, certainly not automatic. So I think if Russ goes, that's the only thing he'll have to weather, managing expectation. But look, I of course I want Russ to do well. He's a Norwich City legend.
And he's arguably completed the toughest job in football in making MK Dons relatively likeable. I mean, that was an impossible job, and he's somehow done it. Liam Gibbs.
Yes.
We signed him.
Yes, we did.
And the important thing about Liam Gibbs, he's an under-23 midfielder.
Yes.
We signed him from Ipswich, which makes it quite fun.
Who are they?
They are a club relatively close. Have you heard of Kirkland Pakefield?
Oh, yeah. Kirkland Pakefield. Massive. Yeah. I know very
they're
well.
just up the road from them.
Oh, right. I honestly don't have a clue.
So Liam Gibbs.
Brilliant. What a signing. Love the shithousing, by the way.
Yeah. Liam, welcome to the football club. Right. Twitter questions.
Oh, I love
I
this
was trying to find some transfer rumours.
Go on. I'm sorry,
No, and I couldn't really find any that we haven't talked about.
I cannot wait for this transfer window to shut.
Right.
I cannot. Look, I'm old and bored. People love it, and I get that, and I understand why.
No, you can't say hate it because it does really good views when we talk about it.
Yeah, it's exciting, but I do. I hate the nonsense, the copy and paste journalism, just people spouting shite. Like, oh my
That's
God.
Us.
Well, yeah, but we're spouting shite about just nonsense chat, right? People know that it's nonsense, right? I hope you know it's nonsense by now. But when it comes to transfer rumours, there's nothing more annoying than people making up stuff. Like, it's just utter trash.
Okay.
Anyway,
I'll tell you what isn't utter trash.
Go on.
And that's Johnny Chick.
Oh, what a name. Is that a real name?
Johnny Chick.
Oh, that's class.
Leeds fan.
Johnny Chick. Welcome to the dance floor. What's
Johnny
he saying?
Chick. If you had to let two Norwich City players replace you two for one podcast, who would they be?
100%, no debate. Ben Gibson, The Rock, Hugels.
I was going to say the exact same
thing.
Really?
Yeah, fair enough. That's it. It's
who's
so easy.
Hugel and who's Gibson?
I think I'm Hugel.
I
could imagine Ben being a bit calmer. I think Hugel would probably throw some pretty lively... He'd probably get himself in a bit of trouble maybe on a podcast, which is why you're always welcome on, Jordan.
I agree. Yeah, that was my exact answer.
Yeah, good. There you go.
Well, Jordan and Ben, if you ever want to do a podcast takeover, the offer is all yours.
Well, they both want to come on, so...
You just need to find your own camera, your own microphones, and your own lighting.
Well, they both want to come on, so...
Well, let us know.
Norwich City, we're
Jordan,
waiting.
Ben, let us know. Callum, good friend of the channel.
Big up, Callum.
Who would you rather be stuck on a desert island with?
Yeah.
Grant Hanley or Christoph Zimmermann?
Ooh.
I wouldn't be stuck on a desert island with Christoph Zimmermann because I spent the last podcast slagging him off. So he would hate my guts. Yeah, so I'm going to have to say Hanley.
Yeah. I don't know, actually.
I think you've got two.
That's close.
You've got two equations.
They've both got similar qualities, actually.
Oh, okay.
I think, in terms of strength.
Yes. I think Zimmermann's a bit more...
In terms of leadership, is Zimmermann smarter? Could he figure out a way off the desert island more than Grant Hanley?
I was going to say Zimmermann strikes me as a bit more of a thinker, although I'm kind of contradicting myself because having listened to Hanley talk about leadership...
Yeah, he's class.
He is very intelligent.
Yeah.
But I just see Hanley catching fish with his hands and...
That's a shout.
Headbutting bears.
Yeah. Hanley would take on anything on the desert island, no problem.
I think I'll go with Hanley.
Yeah, I'll go Hanley as well.
Okay, excellent.
What a question! I love
Finley just says, "Who do we sign?" Finley, I don't know. Natalie.
Go on.
And this was a question we posed on our Twitter account the other day at TalkNorwichCity. If you're not already following, Natalie asks what we asked, but she's asking it back, which is clever from her.
Ooh.
Do you think we're better or worse off than our last Premier League season in terms of the squad?
The question of all questions,
Yeah.
of course.
At current time of recording.
Hotly debated on social media this week, caused a lot of arguments amongst the fan base. Defensively, I think we're stronger.
Yeah.
Defensively, I think we're stronger. We've kept the Barcelona-bound boy, Maxi Aarons, Grant Hanley, leadership, come on a long way. Proper partnership now with The Rock. The Rock, how Burnley didn't play him, I have no idea. Was flirting with the England team when he was at Burnley. Proper player, proper centre-back partnership. Dimitri Giannoulis, rumoured to go to Champions League clubs before he signed for Norwich. That's a flipping solid back line. And of course, by the way, we've barely spoken about Tim Krul, by the way.
And then Angus Gunn behind him.
I mean, that's as solid as a rock, right?
Yeah.
But backup doesn't look quite there yet. And maybe we're being disrespectful to the backup. Maybe we're being disrespectful. Maybe Norwich fans...
What is the backup?
So we've got Big Andy.
Yeah, so he's the centre-back backup.
We've got the Zim, which we won't go into because if not, we'll get into another argument. We've got Bally Mumba. By the way, I'm going to tell you off about this. By the way, you threw me right under the bus on social media with that Christoph Zimmermann post. I just want to say, again, I'd like to clarify and repeat myself.
Well, you often throw me under the bus.
I'm not saying that Christoph should start. I'm just saying, don't just disrespect him. And the way that you said that
I wasn't disrespecting him.
It was.
No, I wasn't.
But to be clear...
You said we wouldn't have an argument.
We're having an argument. Look, I'm not saying Christoph's good enough for the Premier League this time around. I'm not saying he should start. I'm just saying, please don't disrespect the guy. That's all I'm asking. It's a very simple...
exactly what you asked.
All good. Okay, well, let's move on. Okay, so backup-wise, it doesn't look great. However, what I think what's becoming more apparent is our firepower going forwards. It does worry me if Pookie gets another toe injury again. But is this just football fan syndrome that we're all getting?
No, I don't think it is. We've sold our best attacking talent.
We have, and I totally agree with the people that are saying that. Okay, the thing is at the moment, we don't know, and I think a lot of people are basing their... By the way, and I know this is brave, but this is what I'm on the podcast for. I think a lot of people are basing their opinions on Milo Rashica. Based on two pre-season performances, right? He's going to take... Well, look, I think it looks like he's going to take a little bit longer, but who the hell are we to know? He might hit the ground. I mean, he might smash the back door down at Liverpool on the first day of the season.
Wow. What, really?
What he might do. He might run rings around their back line, right? We don't know yet, right? So that's one thing. But I agree with everyone. I do think that we need to add some strength in terms of firepower. I think we're short of a winger. I think we're short of a centre-back, backup, and I think we're short of a striker. I think we must sign those three, but we must buy players in all of those positions.
I think if we could only make one more signing, and I think we will make more, but if we could only make one more signing, I would go big on a striker.
Would you?
I've said it before. I think
someone to challenge Pookie.
Do
you change the system?
No. So here's what I do. We've got we've got Adam Eder. He goes out on a top-class championship loan. This is if I'm Stuart Webber. Jordan Hugill is there as a substitute and just a bit of an all-round legend.
Yeah.
Pookie.
Yeah.
Is challenging with a £15 million signing.
Mate, I think you said this last time, and I think you're chatting shy.
Do you?
I think you're chatting shy.
So you think Pookie's going to score the required goals? Look, this,
I think
and this is bold from you
Pookie
because there were
deliver.
multiple times last season where you slagged off Teemu Pookie.
Oh, no. Don't you dare. That's
there
fraudulent.
were.
That's fraudulent from
There
you.
were.
Piss off.
Bugger
off.
People can find the clips on the watch longs.
Yeah, all right.
Where you were saying, get Hugill into the squad because Pookie isn't firing and he scored 29 goals.
I love a bit of Hugill. Yeah, back Hugill. Pookie will deliver again in the Premier League next season, 100%.
Yeah, no, I think he will.
Yeah.
But
£15 million.
What about if he gets injured?
£15 million? You can't even wipe your ass for £15 million in the Premier League anymore.
But what about if he gets
injured? That's not guaranteed goal scorer.
I'm not saying it. When did I say it was guaranteed? I'm saying someone to challenge Pookie.
Okay, I agree that we need to sign someone to challenge Teemu Pookie, but I think a more priority position, and hear me out, I want to move Todd Cantwell into the number 10 role.
Right.
I want him there. Creativity, twists, turns, almost Wes Hoolahan-esque.
Right.
I think last time in the Premier League, he did very well considering his experience. I believe it was 8 goals, plenty of assists as well. I think this season is his season, but I would rather us spend big money on another winger.
So we're disregarding
we've got
Hernandez and Pajeta.
We've got Pajeta needs a loan, no debate. Anel, I think Anel could do it, but Anel hasn't played much football in a while, right? Do I think he can deliver in the Premier League? Yes. Do I think he could deliver off the bench? 100%, and I like that. But that's seriously tasty. He could cause some damage, the bull. He just absolutely smashes in back doors of the opposition. One side, I want Mila Rashica. The other side, I want another winger. So we're penetrating from both sides. Oh, God, why did I say that? And then I want Todd Cantwell in the middle behind Teemu Pookie. I think that's our priority signing, a winger.
Okay, good.
Let me know in the let us know in the comments. What do you think? Where do we need to sign? I'm sure most people will say we need to sign a centre back, but we'll see.
Well, I think the thing with the centre back is we've got Big Andy, and that gives me that. I think Big Andy is good enough. I think Ballymumba's good enough for the right hand side.
And who knows if they don't get injured,
we're going to be fine.
If we don't have an injury plague, and that's the right word to use, like last time. Then there's no need to worry.
Piss the league if we don't get any injuries. Sam says, and I've got a one-word answer for this. Did we make a mistake in getting rid of Alex Tete? For me, we did. I don't think we did make a mistake. Simple as that for me.
Alex is a club legend, but I think it was his time.
We've got a picture of him there, look.
Yeah, by the way, thanks so much. We've got some lovely fan mail, actually. I don't know if you can see that. Let's get this on camera. Little Teemu.
There's a lovely note on the back.
Alex Tete.
Lovely note on the back that you won't be able to see that says, I much prefer Jack to Chris. So thanks to whoever sent that.
Anyway, no, I think it was Tet's time. I think Tet's has been a great servant to the club. I don't want Tete filling in at left back again. But what I would say is I'll never forget that time where he played centre back against Bournemouth away. And God, it got me going.
Yeah, 0-0, clean sheet. That was when we were there on... We got a lot of stick for that trip, remember? We went on the VIP
We can't help the fact that the club put us on a VIP. We can't help that.
It was a brilliant away day.
Do people expect us to say, oh, no, thank you, we don't want a VIP away day?
It was brilliant. We just drank lots of wine and watched Alex Tete centre back in the Premier League.
Dreaming.
Rashica on Twitter simply says, this is a statement rather than a question, which always gets me going. Leigh Malou's passing. That's it. That's all I have to say.
And all I've got to say is one word. Orgasmic.
Simple.
Honestly, his passing is orgasmic. Do you know what? Here we go. Oh, God. Look, the first time... Do you remember the first time we went up to the Premier League, I said, Moritz Leitner's going to be my player of the season. Absolute howl of a shout.
Never played again.
It didn't happen. My player of the season shout...
Oh, no.
No. I'm saying it. No. I think he's ready for it. Lees Malou, Norwich City, player of the season. It's going to happen. Look, it's
just jinxed him.
Look, it's an early shout. Let us know your comments below. Who do you think will be player of the season next season? Be bold, be brave. Let us know. I think Lees Malou has got what it takes to be player of the season.
That's so bold.
Yeah, well, look, fortune favours the brave. We need more passion.
We'll finish with Lee Jones, and you know who Lee Jones is, don't you? Lee Jones.
Beard boy.
Yeah.
Love him.
Hashtag BB. If you could have the hairstyle of any Norwich City player, past or present, who's Leon Barnett are you going for? Lee says, as a bald man, I'd quite like Zach Wickbreads. Keep up the excellent work.
No debate, Mario Vrancic.
Good from you.
So,
the eyebrows as well.
Yeah, glorious.
Really
Absolutely glorious.
Yeah, I think Russ, for me.
I knew you were going to say that.
Because it's not quite Mario Vrancic levels of grooming, but it's more attainable.
Yeah.
I think Mario Vrancic should be spending a lot of time on that.
Well, he did. We know.
Yeah. But I think Russ still does spend a lot of time, but not quite as much.
What about a Huckabee 0405? The blonde highlighted
I
mullet?
don't think I've got it in me to pull that off.
I've got a lot of interest in that.
Do you?
Yeah, I love that from Hucks.
Right. What about maybe I'm trying to think now. What about a Leitner where he had sort of a line?
The tennis ball?
Yeah.
Yeah, no interest.
None?
Zero. Why did he have a tennis ball on his head for a haircut?
What about an on-L where it's just different every week?
Yes, please. Yeah. I love that.
I've got a really good friend who
really?
can pull off
well done.
which is you. I've got one friend and he can pull off like the Todd Cantwell hair, like quite long. Not many people can.
Wow.
I would love to be able to pull that off.
Strong.
Like the long surfer look.
Do you?
Yeah, sort of Australian vibe.
I must admit, I'm not sure it's your vibe.
Oh, absolutely not. But I'd love to be able to.
Good.
That's all the questions this week, and we would like to thank you for listening, wouldn't we?
Yes, as always. Is that the end? Have we come to the end?
I think I've ticked.
Is there no more agenda items?
Or the only thing I've got left on the agenda, I've just
tick 'em off.
wrote down Philip Billing, the Bournemouth player. That's the
why
only transfer rumour I could find that was vaguely going to happen.
Do you know what I want to? Are we ending? I'll end on something, right? I want to say.
Is this your closing monologue?
No, it's a point I want to make.
Right. The stage
Please
is yours.
stop falling for copy and paste journalism. Please stop listening to faceless Twitter accounts that don't know what they're talking about. You have to ask yourself the question, why is that Twitter account faceless? Why are they anonymous? And then they're posting transfer rumours. That's rather odd. Because if they were telling the truth, they would want to improve their credibility in the market. But no, they're just after it for vanity metrics. They love it when they get a hit and loads of people share their content. For example, Todd Cantwell to Villa this week. It's just utter garbage. Stop reading it, unfollow them, and get rid of it. And people take one quote and it's like a wildfire in the Norwich City Twitter sphere at the moment. And God forbid what's happening on the Norwich City Facebook pages. Luckily, I removed myself from them because they were even worse. But yeah, just look with transfer rumours.
Just DM them to me if you've got any.
No, but transfer rumours. That we all love the fact that we can get excited about a new potential signing. We do love that. But what we don't love is fake anonymous accounts claiming they've got sources. They haven't got sources. If they had sources, they'd want to improve their credibility to then actually become a journalist. It's as simple as that.
Good. Well, we'll leave it there. If you want to come to the Lakens, do. Tickets
Can't wait for
in
that,
the
by the way.
description.
It'd be so nice to see people in person again.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Lots of hugs on that day, I suspect. I'll be
So-
double jabbed by then. I'll be immortal. And if you want to beat me at fantasy football...
Not the first time either.
If you want to beat me at fantasy football, then the link is in the description. All proceeds go to Big C. Chris, it's been a pleasure.
As always.
The next time we do a podcast,
Shit.
you're going to be a married man.
I'm so nervous. I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah, buzzing.
More
though.
nervous about the wedding or the Liverpool game?
Buzzing. Do you know what I'm buzzing about? I'm buzzing that the missus was there for that epic Man City game.
Right,
That
why?
What are you laughing for? It's just a great memory.
Okay.
I just loved it. Yeah, I'm going to be married soon.
Yeah.
I'm getting married. So, yeah, thanks.
Good. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you later. Bye.